Hey guys, Justin here at AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing RTR's rear spoiler, shown here in satin black, fitting all 2024 and newer fastback Mustangs. Now you guys should be checking out the RTR spoiler if you're looking for one of the most popular options out there for your S650 at home, complete with an aggressive ducktail style that will really change up the attitude and appearance of the rear end of your car. So first up, let's talk features here with the RTR rear spoiler, and I think the most obvious feature is going to be the massive change in appearance from stock that this thing will help deliver once installed. Now, aside from the bold, in-your-face styling or look of the RTR spoiler, another feature will be the factory-like fit that Vaughn and his team at RTR really do try to execute with all of their parts, and same can be said for the spoiler here. Now, this option will replace the factory deck lid panel and install using factory mounting points, along with the included hardware, as we'll demonstrate a little bit here, so hang tight. Now, final feature, guys, in my humble opinion, is going to be that attractive satin black finish right out of the box, eliminating the need for any extra steps like heading to your local paint shop. All right, moving into construction, and the spoiler from RTR has been designed and built using OEM Ford CAD data, which does help ensure a factory-like fit from the spoiler once everything's been installed. Now, the spoiler itself has been made from a burly injection molded ASA plastic before being finished off here in satin black. And again, this thing looks great, ready to rock right out of the box, pun intended. Now, this spoiler does retain all factory mounting points, but does not require any drilling or any permanent modification, so definitely keep that in mind. And it will still retain your factory backup camera thanks to the cutout, which is already in place for you. Now, finally, guys, the spoiler does include some extra hardware in the box, so definitely keep an eye out for that, and that will be needed for the installation. Now, price point for the RTR rear spoiler is going to hover around $400, give or take here, which at the time of this video does put this right in line with a lot of other aftermarket options for the S650 here on the site. Last but not least, let's shift gears and get into the installation. Site's gonna call this a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you, I would say, a couple of hours at absolute most to complete from start to finish. But now, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you need a drill and an eraser wheel, a 3/8 ratchet, a 3/8 extension, a 10, 7, T20 and T15 socket, a couple of trim panel tools, adhesive remover, a clip removal tool, and the cleaning spray. All right, today we're going to be putting a rear spoiler on our Mustang, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do to get our factory spoiler off, we just need to access all the bolts. So we got to get our liner off here. We're going to start with our trunk latch. We just need to get that trim off. Take a clip removal tool, you just pry gently up, it'll come off. Remove the 2 rubber plugs here. And then we have a few push clips going all the way around. Gonna grab our clip removal tool and pop those off. This one right here. When pulling off, just make sure you put the release through and then pull it off the wire harness down here and set that aside. So we're going to start on the outer edge here. We have 2 7mm bolts. We'll grab a ratchet, 7mm socket. Going to switch to a 10mm socket. We're going to take this plug out here, pull that out with your fingers, and remove this 10mm bolt in here. Now, if you need to, just tilt the trunk lid down. Just try to avoid dropping that. And we're going to move further inside. Now, through these 2 holes here and here, there's going to be 2 nuts on 2 studs. We're going to grab our ratchet, 10mm socket extension, and take those off. And be very careful not to drop them into the trunk lid. can, reach your hand in through here. You might be able to get your hand on one or two of them. Now you go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of the trunk lid for these two and those 3 bolts on the outside. So we just have one more nut in the center here. We're gonna take that off with our ratchet and 10mm socket. All right, and now we have all of our bolts out of our spoiler. We're ready to take that and the deck lid off here. What we would need to do is grab some adhesive remover, and you're gonna go in the seam right in the front here, right in front of the spoiler on top of the trunk lid. Just take some adhesive remover, just let that pour in, and then use some trim tools. Just gently pry up, just releasing that seal that goes all the way across. Now we already did that. Ours had already been taken off, so we don't have that anymore. So we can just pull ours off. Just pull off like that. And then we have our connection for our camera and our wiring harness here. Next, we're gonna grab our clip removal tool and pop these 2 clips off here. And then we have our connector for our camera down here. So push down, pull out. Now we can set our spoiler aside so we can take some hardware off. So now that we have that off, you'll see that there will be a seal going all the way across. Ours is pretty much cleaned up. You can see there's a little bit left, so we can clean that off. We're gonna grab a drill and an eraser wheel. Just get the rest of this seal all the way off, and then grab a cleaner and a rag and clean off the top of this. Just comes off that easily, and just grab a cleaner and a rag and clean the rest of it off. Now that we have our factory spoiler and deck lid off, we just need to take off our hardware. So we're gonna start with our rear view camera. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and T15 socket, take these 2 Torx bits out. Get those 2 bolts out. And get our bracket out of the way. And just pull our camera out. Next we have our T-bolts, which we need to take out, which we have 1 here and then 4 on the other side. So these just slide out to the side. Just like that. See how they lock in. Take the other 4 out. So now on either side, we're gonna have 2 more T-bolts, retaining clip here, and then 2 clips here that we're gonna take out. So start with the T-bolts. Just slide them off. Same thing with our retaining clip down here, just slides off. And then we have our 2 clips on the end here. If you need to, you can use your trim panel tool or your clip removal tool. Just lift up on them and slide them off. And go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna start in the middle here on our new spoiler. We're gonna first put in our T-bolt. It's gonna go right up top here. Just slides into place. And then we're gonna get our rear view camera into place. So we're gonna grab 2 of our nut plates and put them here and here. They just slide into place. So we're gonna get our camera into our bracket. So we'll go like so from underneath. Just get the right angle, we'll lock into place. You'll see the RTR logo. And then the connector will be facing backwards of the duct here. We're gonna get our bolts started. Now you will need to lift up on the spoiler just to get everything seated in position properly. But we get these countersunk bolts started. And grab our ratchet and we'll grab our ratchet and our T20 socket and tighten those down. Now that we have the center all done, we can move to the side. So now we're gonna get our 2 T-bolts on the side over here. You'll see 3 spots at the top. We're gonna go in our middle spot here. Just push that in. Same thing at the bottom, you'll see 3 spots. Then go our middle spot. All right, so we have a retaining clip down at the bottom here. Slide that into place. And our 2 nut plates here. And here, you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side of the spoiler. All right, on the outside of the trunk lid here, we will not be reusing these 2 outside top bolts. So we have supplied plugs. It's just a small film. So I'm gonna put that over top. Just make sure you get a good seal all the way around so that no water leaks in there. You can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we're gonna plug in our connector for our rear view camera. So it just simply slides on like that. Push our clips back in to retain our wiring harness. Then we can get ready to put our spoiler in position. You'll see I pulled up the ends of the double-sided tape just to get ready to install. And then we'll get all of our studs lined up. All right, so we'll get all of our mounts lined up. Just give them a gentle push in. We'll raise our trunk lid so that we can hand tight our hardware. All right, so we're just gonna go to our middle stud here. We're just gonna put our nut back on loosely, just so it doesn't fall on us. Get that snug. And then we can close our trunk lid and pull our double-side tape. All right, actually, before we pull our double-side tape, we're gonna get all of our hardware in just to make sure everything lines up. So we have our 2 7mm screws on the outside here. Get those threaded in, tighten them down, grab our ratchet and 7mm socket. You put our plug back in here since we don't have a bolt anymore. We can move to the 2 towards the inside now. Now we have our 2 10mm bolts here and here. And get them on our ratchet. Be careful not to drop them. All right, now you gotta do the same thing on the other side. We're just gonna come back to the middle one here and tighten that down with our ratchet and 10mm socket. All right, now we're gonna come up here and pull the red backing off our double-side tape. Make it a little bit easier, just gently pull back on the spoiler. Now pull tension off of the tape. Once you have it all off, just give it a good press all the way across. So now we're gonna get our liner back in place. So get our release through and our wiring harness down here. Start with our adjusters here. Just thread them in. And then reinstall all of our push clips across the whole liner. And lastly, our cover for our trunk latch. And we can close our trunk lid, we're all good. And that wraps up our install of our RTR rear spoiler matte black for our 2024 newer Mustang Fastback. And remember, for everything Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.